codes, plumbing, fire, and building. That was kind of stupid.
Well, if you want water to flow, it has to drop
Exactly.
certain inches per foot, or
Right.
fractions of inches.
And I told you guys, I'm willing to work with you guys. As long as you guys can correct it, I can correct it at mine.
Right,
And that's what I'm asking.
and that's what the council is discussing, so we'll go from there.
And I'm working with my insurance company right now, and he's been trying to get all of your insurance company and hasn't had any luck. They're trying to talk back and forth about this on it to see what I can cover on it. So he's waiting to hear back.
Well, if the city, if the town actually goes in 3 taps and puts in a line to your property line, then
At the proper depth.
at the
Right,
proper depth,
right.
I'm not really sure why the insurance companies would be involved in that, but that's, you
But
know.
I think what you're gonna find, proper depth, Dave, is gonna be about 18 inches.
On our main,
And
No.
you're
No, not on our main. Our main is at 4 feet,
right,
but out where the sewer line is, it's 18 inches below the dirt because it's such a dip into the level of the ground. And in order to maintain that flow, it is maintaining flow until it gets to the road. And then there's a little dips in there where the
So
water
then
stays.
why has this council spent this much time fiddle farting around and trying to act like it's not a problem of the cities? It's obviously a problem of the cities. Why don't we straighten our shit out and let her deal with hers?
that's what we're doing right
We've been screwing around with this for 4 months. Ever since it thawed out.
now. Well,
We haven't made any headway whatsoever.
no, but we did have the company go and camera the lines and check them out and stuff, so
We
that's what we were
knew,
waiting
we knew
for.
what we had.
Well, no, we actually didn't know for a fact.
Okay.
So,
Let's see, what do you guys think about having Jeremy go down there with a backhoe, close that road off, open that line up, because it's only 18 inches deep across that road. And get it to where it flows across there.
I think that's all she's asking for.
I just want it so it's not gonna keep freezing up.
Right.
It cost me $700 every time I call them out to thaw it out, and it's all city that has thawed out, not mine.
We should fix from the service to your property line.
right,
And I'm telling you, you're gonna have an issue at your property line. I'm telling you that straight up right now. Because you're at 15 inches and we can't be at 15 inches
Right.
if our surface is at 4 feet.
Right.
Because there's only 20 feet of city pipe there.
And see, that's, at my end, I'll be working with Cotters because I trust them. So I'll be talking with them and working what we need.
Okay.
okay, so, do we vote on it? To go ahead and-
What do we need to vote on?
Do we need our guys? to
We
go
can't
in
vote
there,
on
or
anything. We don't know how much it's gonna cost. We don't know what we're gonna do.
Are we gonna get a bid to come in and do it?
No, we're gonna dig it up and look at it.
Yeah, our guys can do that, Jim and Jimmy.
All it would cost us is gas.
Comfortable with that, Jeremy?
Yeah. Well, let's
Locate down
make some
there.
steps to get this remedied then.
Get it dug up and let's see where you're at as far as the right slope to it. And if you have to dig underneath it and replace that section of pipe, then that's what we need to do.
I tell you, I'm very frustrated with this situation. I think this could have been handled a lot quicker than this.
Well, the only thing we were waiting for was for them to kind of camera the lines and find out exactly where we were going with it.
So we have an update on this next council meeting?
Yeah.
See where we're at and what was done and how it's done and.
And then can I ask, as far as communication, will we communicate maybe a little better on it? Because to make the meetings, there's only 7 of us in our department, and we're very specialized. And so I have to really finagle
They're
things
definitely gonna
around.
have to communicate
Well, you
with
work
you
at night,
because-
don't you?
Yes.
So you have to make time to take time off of work to come to the meeting, okay.
Because it's
So-
gonna, you're gonna have to communicate with Jeremy on this because when he starts cutting into your sewer line,
You're gonna be without
yeah.
Right,
for
so you're
a
gonna,
couple of
yeah.
days maybe.
You have to-
Yeah.
So,
Well, that, I mean, that's nothing new since this winter, it was 2 or 3 days.
Okay. So who's her contact? Will that be you?
Jan, will, she can get a hold of Jan, Jan can get a hold of her for any kind of discussion or
And
meetings.
you can
or
always
whatever.
text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have all of her information?
I believe so, I have her phone number.
Yeah, just text.
Text, I can email you. I can,
Yeah. mine.
text won't be,
Yeah.
I'll just need your email address,
Okay.
because those are all public records. So if I text you on my phone becomes public record.
Okay.
And it's everything on my phone, and I don't want that to be public record.
Right, right.
It's my private life,
Yeah.
so,
And I mean, that's what, at the hospital, that's what we have to do too.
so if we can email you through your phone to the, office email, that would be,
That would work for me.
that would be an honor.
Yeah, it's just I have to do a lot of finagling to get time off. So I just
Okay,
need to
and the
know ahead of
next-
time.
Well, the next meeting, proposed next meeting would be the 9th of September because,
Okay,
the second is a holiday.
so it'd be the 9th, right?
But that's up to the council, I'm just saying that's a proposed date
Opposed. Okay,
because of the holiday.
I'll look at my schedule because we do 10 weeks out.
Okay, so the council and everyone is frustrated with this whole deal, but they will get Jeremy's schedule to go over and, when you're ready, now you have to be ready to go into our lines. So when you get ready to bring your line into the main, we will dig from your property line to the main, re-tap and connect your line. But you have to be ready to do that before we can do any digging up in our, because it just wouldn't work, I mean, there's traffic on that road.
Yeah, I'll let you talk to the
There's no
farmers.
traffic on that road that can't go one way or the other, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
We could close that road tomorrow.
Yeah.
Part of it, yeah.
But, yeah, I'll talk to Brandon.
But we don't want to be digging up anything and leaving it open until she's ready
We
to.
might not know what we have to do
We
until
have
it's
to dig it
done.
up to see this week, to see what we have.
We have a hand up.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying she has to know first what you guys have to work with,
Right.
because if she goes digging across 3 feet
She won't.
down and you guys can't run it 3
Right.
feet, then she's
Well, and
screwed.
that's the point, 'cause right now, at the road depth of 18 inches, that's about the level point we're gonna have for the slope to get it into the
The roads doesn't have to be raised.
main line.
So, Jeremy can schedule that with Jay to go over and look at it and decide when you're gonna dig it sometime in the next week or two. And then we will get in touch with Jean and let her know what the update is, as, you know, where we're going with it, and then we can coordinate that way.
When can we schedule something yet, or do you need to look at your schedule?
Yeah, I need time,
Okay.
a day or two.
Would you let at least me, I'd like to know what that looks like. Jan, can you text me? Let me know when he plans on
We plan on exposing the main,
exposing the main, yeah.
and that way the council can go look at it.
All right. What's next?
Okay. Susan Milford, but she's not here tonight.
Apparently not.
And I did notify her, she said it wouldn't be a problem, so.
Did you,
Okay.
Spencer ever get back to you yet?
No, still waiting.
I talked to like 5 actually, different companies to see if we could get a machine that locates the water lines, because we cannot locate them with our locator, even though it picks up everything else to 12 or 14 feet, because of the PVC and rubberized gaskets in that line. So I have a person that is going to come, and this is what he does with his business. I have a person that's gonna come and he's going to run a wire through that water line and then he can detect it with the metal detector.
Good idea. Great idea.
Who's that? When's he gonna be here?
Klaus, and I haven't talked to him yet on the phone, but I have a message into him. He works full time, so he'll be, he lives over on 3rd Street, on the corner of 3rd Street, and Riverside.
That's
Works for AT&T.
going to be done really soon.
And I'll try to get a hold of him, see how fast we can get that done, and locate those lines.
Spencer had a sonar system that he was trying to check on too.
And you haven't talked to him?
I'm waiting to hear back from him. I
Yeah.
think he might be out of town for a couple of days.
Yeah, and I've left several messages with Spencer too about that whole situation. I haven't heard back from him, so I don't know if he's out of state
Yeah, it
or
just,
where he's at, because he goes to a lot of conferences and, half the time he's gone, so. So we'll follow up on that, and we will let Susan know.
We're also gonna be doing smoke bombs.
We're going to smoke that sewer line, sometime
hopefully this week.
next week, this week or next week.
Let me know when you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Jeremy can let you know so you go, but that's why we're gonna smoke it, to see, as far as we can tell right now, we don't see or can observe any leakage over there, so that's why we wanna smoke it, to make sure that, and that'll tell us exactly if there's a crack in that line or if there's a leak anywhere, if it's broken or whatever, then we can go in. And if it's on the city property, on our city where our line goes to the main, to the property line, if
We'll
it's
fix it.
there, we'll fix it. If it's on her side of the property line, it's her responsibility.
I think she knows that.
So,
She knows that, she's willing to work with you on everything.
right.
That's not a problem, she just wants water.
Well, and the thing with that is that the Montana State Code and our ordinance says that the town is only obligated to supply water and sewer to the property line.
For
It
one
does-
residence,
It does not address upgrades.
for one residence, and we're talking about
Two.
one residence and a
And
commercial
then
property.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
You
what the
you
water line
can't,
we're looking at
you
is
can't
the
go
second
about this
property.
thinking that 1-inch line is ever gonna be enough.
It's never done. Actually, the property line on the residence is where what you should go.
Yeah.
And that,
But she's agreed to take it from her property line
she's,
there.
yeah, she's spending the money.
Yes,
But
that's
that's
why we should,
save you a pile of money.
Yeah, that's why we wanna get it to there.
yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we'll,
We're trying to find our line first.
yeah, as soon as we get our water line located, where the main actually, is, it's either on the south side of the road or it's in the middle of the road, but there are no pins in that main,
Yeah.
which boggles you because
I hate
normally
to
there
all-
are.
I hate
Put
to
a
tell you
saddle
this,
on a
you're
main
gonna
and
probably
you-
think I'm crazy. I can witch water,
I was gonna
I-
ask you
I
about
can do
that, if
that.
you've gone over and done that.
and I went down there where that valve main is, right, that water valve, right, that.
In the center of the street,
Stayed behind it, did my little trick, right there it is.
Is that where the meter's at?
No,
No,
that's right in the
center
middle of the street.
Center of the street where the valve shut off
I
is
chased
at?
that all the way down to the highway, every time I stopped and went out there, right dead center in that street, all the way down to just about to the highway.
yeah. That's what we're
the-
thinking we have
That's
to
what
work
the
with.
map
Yeah.
says.
And, people think I'm crazy, I can do that. I can locate gas
We have
lines,
Several people.
anything.
do that, yeah. Now, what about the, where it's tapped into our main and just into the Tomahawk across the acres?
all I did was just the main.
Okay,
We're not worried
yeah,
about.
because I asked you to
Tomahawk.
give me a call so I'd come down with a spray can.
Well, I wanted to be sure, I hate to do it because it's not positive. There is a line going down there and I located a line. It's right in the center of the street.
Yeah.
It's
Where the
just-
shut-off valve is.
Yeah.
Just straight down from the shut-off.
All the way down to just about to the highway, there's a crack that goes all the way across the blacktop. I stopped right there.
But it says WS.
Okay.
And they changed their designation on the map to WS for that line, and we couldn't figure out why. All the rest
So
of
is
the
that
water
smaller
lines,
than the W?
Yeah, the W would be the one.
like, but they got,
But it still
the
could be 2
they
inches.
got the
right?
lines from old maps,
Yeah.
not from locating the lines.
Right.
So,
Just from old
we
maps.
dig up-
And
I would
they
love to
were
go down there and dig up and start
necessarily
it.
accurate.
Okay,
Cut
I
off
bet.
the street.
So we
Yeah,
could-
but
But you tell people
May I
you can do that, they
suggest-
tell you you're crazy.
May I
You're standing out
suggest
there with two wires, you know, they think
Okay.
you're nuts.
Jim,
that you talk with Mike Beekman?
I haven't heard back from him, I've
I
had
know,
3 calls
I'm
from
just
him.
saying, reach out to him, he's willing to go out and tell you where he thinks it is, because it goes right across the property. And he will tell you there's no easement for it. He's willing to work with you on an easement, he wants some things in return. But he will also describe the difficulty you're going to have going across that property. There's a lot of fiber optics. So,
From what I understand from the highway department, though, and the Department of Transportation, fiber optics go down just a few feet off of the main highway.
I'm just telling you what he
Yeah.
told me. Okay.
I've been in touch with Andrew Harmon at the DOT, and that's, he
When
sent
did
me
you talk to
down
Mike?
there.
Last week.
Yeah,
Good.
and he's been on vacation from what I
He was
understand.
on vacation when you were attempting to.
Right. And I don't know if Mr. Trask, Officer Trask, gave him the message, because I haven't heard back from him yet.
I'm just saying, if you reach out to him, he will go out to the property and make an appointment, of course. He'll go out and tell you where he thinks the line is.
Okay.
the existing tomahawk.
Well,
Yeah, we-
that's all
But
right.
it is,
We're
We
not
can locate
concerned with
that, 'cause
that.
it's
What
metal.
we wanna do is tap into our main, run the other line over, probably good.
But
and get a
it
larger.
is-
Okay, but I did,
Supply.
excuse me just a second, I did get a reply from Mark at State Line. He did go over and look at that today, and he did call back. So the update from him is if he does a bore and pulls that line through, it's gonna cost the town about $6,000.
From where to where?
From the
Center
main,
of-
from the main to the Tomahawk property.
What are you talking Main? You mean in the center of the street?
Yes,
That North Street, is it?
Yeah.
yes,
North
North
Street.
Street, yes, to the
To-
Tomahawk.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's good.
That's
really
normally,
good.
that's normally what we pay to have someone set new service in.
Yeah, I don't
That's a good price.
Yeah, I don't think we
But-
should squabble about that.
Man,
No.
I know.
I just wanted to have, make you guys, give you the new information.
And he'd
about
pull the
that.
pipe, so it's less intrusive.
Right.
You don't have
He
to worry
doesn't
about
have to
that, they can guide that thing,
Yeah.
radioactive guide it.
It's like pulling,
I
Yeah, well,
don't
this-
think
Hey,
he should
Jeremy.
be doing that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jeremy.
May not open those,
Yeah, I'm not.
okay.
Jeremy,
Jim,
would you take these, please?
I apologize.
No, just,
and I'm just saying, we have an open container and
yeah,
this is town property and you open
so,
that.
yeah, and that is the update from State Line. Now, he can come over and bore and pull the line through and put in a 2-inch to the property line for that amount of money.
beauty.
but I'm on the
Great news.
understanding
But-
that we as a town are not responsible for upgrades.
We're
If
not.
that line
We
proves to
have,
be,
we have to supply them with ample water for their property.
So if you
That's
run
not
a
an
two-
upgrade,
we can
that's
either
just
run a
giving them what
2-inch
we,
line and let them run
we're
both
charging them
lines
for.
off.
It's a main, you're putting in a new main.
It's not a new,
Automatic,
No.
it's just gonna run a 2-inch.
It's a service,
She will take
it is
her
a service
water.
line that you're putting in.
right?
You've read my legal opinion, I'm gonna stick to it. There's nothing in there that requires upgrades.
It's not
But,
an upgrade.
you know, that's up to you. It's however you interpret it. Sounds like they have water going to the,
Not ample.
They have water going to the Tomahawk, they do not have a line going to the residence,
how
which
is
is
the
a
residents
separate
getting
problem.
water?
Through
They
the
tapping
business.
off the Tomahawk, which is illegal if it's going to be a different property. So, being a separate property, they're entitled to a water line to their property,
Each one of them.
each one, separate.
Both properties pay property tax. I'm waiting for somebody to argue that fact. Nobody
well, I
will.
personally kind of disagree.
Okay, give me your
Because
thoughts.
I don't think it's our responsibility, it's our responsibility to let them have the water. We've done that. We have a 1-inch line or a 3/4 inch line going down. And it was not our option.
That service is
That-
on property.
Yes,
Right.
but it was not our option to add the house. It was not our option to add anything else other than the bar that was there.
So you're saying that if anybody moves into town, on a new property, builds a house, we don't have to take it because it wasn't our option that they built here in Fromber?
This guy that's
No,
building
if-
two
if-
houses
if
down
some-
here on South River Street, he owns both of them.
Yes.
We put a service into one house, and you're telling me that we shouldn't put a service to his other one?
Who paid for it?
Who paid for
We-
what?
For his water lines.
We paid for
I
it
believe
to
he
his
paid
line.
for his water lines.
Yeah, he
I'm not
paid,
saying,
We put him
if
in
these guys
a
want-
location where he could access them.
if these guys want a water line, a bigger water line, then that's up to them. They should be able to pay for it.
Well, then
Not us.
they can require us to dig a 3/4 inch line all the way over to the house. Which would be a lot more cost. What would you rather have? What?
When we
Not
put in
according
that
to the
1-inch
state
line,
law.
it was for the bar. Was it not?
That's all it was.
The house wasn't there.
No.
No house.
And the house
Okay,
is annexed.
so no, hang on. That 1-inch line, you would agree, is not too much water for the bar.
exactly.
It's adequate for a bar.
It's adequate for a bar.
Now you add a house to that. What do you got?
No, they're not.
Okay, so whose responsibility is it to
The
get
property
them
owner.
enough water to supply both of those residences?
I would believe it'd be the property owner that is responsible to. pay for
What
the
if we
water.
have them plumb the whole damn city for us?
The only thing that we're missing on that though is if, on the annexation deal, that always gets brought up on question if the house is actually annexed into it. Because if that's not,
And it
then
is.
that takes.
They were both
so it is.
annexed.
That's good. We can all agree on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as we're good on that.
So, in 2013, the town made an agreement with Milkers and we did a service plan. Okay.
Okay,
The town is obligated or required under Montana state law, 7-2-4731, paragraph 1, subsection C, does not require the town to extend services if it requires the town to set forth its plans on a new service will be extended to the annexed property, and that was from the main to the property line, and that's what we did. We
Right.
put in a 1-inch line
Yep.
from our main to the property line.
when?
And that was an agreement that we made, a service plan for the annexations in 2013.
Are you saying annexations as in plural?
Yes, they were
Okay.
both annexed into the town.
Okay.
So, state law says that we are not required to do upgrades, and a 2-inch service line off of our main to the property line is an upgrade.
Yeah, it
So,
is.
and the town does provide water and sewer to the property line. The connection, is, made at the owner's expense. An upgrade of connection is made at the owner's expense. Property owners are responsible for all right-of-way or easements and off-site infrastructure. That ordinance 257 of the town says the town bears the expense of installing services to the property line or curb stop, which we have done. They request for an upgrade to a 2-inch line to both business and the house and recorded easement. And this is a request of the owner that we do a 2-inch service line to both the bar and the house and a recorded easement that requires the town to install and pay for upgrades. And we are not required to do that. It is up to the property owner to get an easement and to pay for the upgrades. Now, we can certainly put in a 2-inch line, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just telling you what the law says.
So if she sells the house separate, the people that own the bar can cut off the water to that house, because
Unfortunately.
that's their line. Then we are responsible for getting them, they'll petition us to put a water line to their property line,
But then,
but then we have to do that.
but doesn't it state that
And
they
then
would
they
have
would
to
have to
pay?
get an easement
They
through.
Right.
pay for the water,
main.
okay?
Right.
They're
would
new
have to-
people
Yeah,
But they would have to pay from there to the main.
right.
from there to the main, from the property line, from their house to their
So
property
what-
line.
But a new service, how does it read for a new service? Would a new service require, because I thought that,
A new
We-
service, when we put in a new service, according to the ordinance, we expose and tap the main. We go to the property line.
we pay for that.
We pay for that.
There's your rub,
Yep,
right there.
So,
It is, right
and
there.
then here's another problem though. If we put in a 2-inch line to the house, they're both annexed in the same annexation, that's gonna cost us, close to $80,000.
We would never put a 2-inch line to a
To the
property.
house.
Why would we?
That's what
It
they're
was-
asking.
No,
Well,
they're
that's a-
asking
that's a
one
mistake.
line to split between the
Yeah, that's a
2-inch
mistake.
line over to run 2
And I don't
services.
think it would even necessitate a 2-inch line. I think an inch and a half, go ahead.
This is a little bit off topic, but I think where you guys got into a little bit of a heat here is you had, Mike, if I recall right, was fairly new when the first property came in and the annexation, and it should have been looked at right away that the 1-inch line could not
Wasn't
supply, was not ample, so you don't get yourself into this situation to begin with.
Well, the problem is that all of these situations are
Yeah,
coming up.
I understand,
And we
we're
have to
in the
deal with them.
situation, but I
This
mean,
was a
it
camp
is
that
a
was
pretty
kicked
good
down the
deal
street.
with 6,000, right,
Yeah.
to the line. I
Oh,
mean, if anybody else, this is where you run into the problem. Somebody moves next to Sue,
On the other side.
side, and says, well, you got a 1-inch line going to Renee's, run a 2-inch line down.
Right, and that's the problem, is because every time something like this happens, then they're gonna come to the town and say, well, you did it for
Well,
so-and-so,
here's the thing.
and here's
We
the
have the-
expense that
We have the choice of annexation or not.
Yeah,
And it would be a long look now, knowing what we know, if
Yeah.
any of us are still here, to not get caught up in that little problem.
whirlwind, yeah.
Yeah, but that annexation, that's a lucrative annexation for this town.
Well, that one, of
Yeah.
course it is.
Yeah,
Nobody's arguing
That
that.
money that's bringing into this
Yes.
town,
Nobody
unreal.
says that.
Both
that's why we
properties-
push so hard to get the damn
Yeah,
thing
but
annexed.
Jim, it should have been done correctly.
I know it, but they sent Mike down there to hook all these lines up. He had carte blanche. She gave him carte blanche. You buy the best of everything, put it in. And that's what he did, but it's not sufficient enough.
Why the hell did they put her service box or her deal halfway up the street
I don't know.
on Wall Street?
I don't have a clue.
They put
Christ.
the meter and the shut-off and the curb box up on
Yeah,
the corner of
I know
Harley and North Street.
exactly where it's
It
at.
should have been on the property line.
Yeah, of
But
course.
that one, line was put in a long time ago.
Yeah, that was
The water
another
line,
When
yeah.
it just went out to ours.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
that was put in when 19
Okay.
something.
But the main line existed then.
Yeah.
So do we have to vote whether or not we want to take care of these people and how we want to take care of them?
I think we should,
Okay?
hope
I
what
don't
is
know
your-
that-
Personally, I think you ought
We
to
need to
find
have
out
some
how much
costs.
it's gonna cost before you commit to something.
Yeah, otherwise we're gonna end up with
Okay.
a bill we can't
We need to
afford.
talk to Mike Beekler, ASAP, like
If you
yesterday.
could give a board for $6,000, you're a damn fool for not taking it.
Well, if we can go
I'll
across
tell
Mike's
you that.
property,
Huh?
if we can go across Mike's
We go under
property,
his property.
we have to drive across it. And he can
For
stop
what?
us from doing it. Well, they gotta pull that line, they have to drive across it.
No,
to
they
know.
don't. They,
No,
they
don't.
start
They
right
just
on the
pull it
street and they'll push it
straight
all
They
the
just
way.
tunnel
Push it all the way
It goes
through.
under the ground.
No
They-
shit?
Yeah, they'll bore with a rod, and he'll go from the
Water?
street, just a solid steel rod. He'll bore, he'll go down from the road, all the way across Mike's property and come right up on Sue's property.
And
on
we
the
can
other
do
side.
that,
Huh?
and we can do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And when they get that up there, then they'll pull this rod back and they put it on an expander on the end of that steel
Yeah.
rod. And then they hook the
Pull it
2-inch
2-inch
line
Pull it through.
onto that, they
Pull it
pull that
through.
steel rod out, they pull the pipe in. They
Okay,
can put it 20 feet deep if they want to,
okay.
Right,
because the head
And
is
then-
radio controlled.
yeah,
And they go down, they can steer that thing, and he'll come
Right.
right up, dead center on
Right.
on her property.
yeah.
I
and-
still think we should talk to Mike first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, we
Just
have to
get-
get permission to go under it.
well, the thing of it is that
But it's not invasive.
we already
Yeah.
have a line there, and evidently there was an easement signed way back in
There was never an easement.
1991 or something.
There was never an easement.
According to Montana Department of Transportation, there
Well,
was.
maybe with the Department of Transportation there might have been, but
And it
Baker says there was
expired.
never an easement.
Not with
Why
Frank.
not? Why did he let them go across the
Because
property?
he had an
and put lines in?
informal handshake agreement with the
Oh, I
original
hate
owner.
It was Frank and Aldo.
Yes.
Aldo with $1,000. Yep.
And if you don't know Frank and
You're gonna
Aldo,
pour it heavy.
Okay, so as soon as we get updated with cost,
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'll get updates for cost, we'll schedule, I'll have Mark come and talk to you guys at a meeting.
Okay,
finding the
Okay.
water line.
And we'll get the
talking to
water
Mike
line
and
located,
Have a meeting.
And we'll get hold of Mike, and we'll let you know.
okay.
We'll
Oh,
discuss that and
people
get
bring
that
more
taken
beer.
care of. Let's just. get
That's
that.
another one that we gotta press on.
Yes. So let me make a note to, I'll call my, one more time, see.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, because under 300, it's way over.
Well, Mark just gave me a ballpark figure, he said it wouldn't be any more than 6,000 to go
So we'll probably
and bring
be
that
10.
line through. I'm gonna get David to come and, double check with your witching, Jim, and run a wire, down that line to see where it's at. Especially off of the main to the property line, that's what I wanna know, is that water line going from the main to the property line. We are gonna smoke the sewer sometime this week or next, so we'll find out about that. Okay, Jeannie, thank you for coming to the meeting. Thank you. For working with me.
Yes, this is an interlocal agreement between, I'm proposing this between the town and Carbon County. Right now, it has come to my attention, there's never been an interlocal regarding planning services. Basically, this comes into, it becomes an issue when anybody, say, wants to put in a new subdivision in town. You have no planning board in place. You have nobody to go through the subdivision requirements and so forth. This is what the planner does for the county.
Right.
And being on the planning board, they're saying doesn't necessarily cover that planner's fees. So this would be an interlocal that the county agrees to share the planner's ability and the sanitarians if the town agrees to a payment. And I haven't gotten from the county what that payment will be. It'll be on a one-time basis each time a subdivision is proposed. And you could basically pass that